Okay, let's call to order the city council meeting for November 26th. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Armstrong,
Here.
Councilmember Rubio. Here. Councilmember Veros.
Here.
Vice Mayor Perkins.
Here.
And Mayor Hudson.
Here. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. That's our first item. Well, after the pledge.
Item 3, announcements. 3.1, changes and additions to the agenda. There are none this evening. Item 3.2, if you'd like to speak under public comment, please fill out a card in the back of the room and bring it forward. Item 4, public comment.
Okay, public comment is open. Do we have any cards?
I do have one speaker card for this item. Susie Ferris Indercom.
Hi, Susie.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. And hopefully Martin, licensed city attorney, can help me on this one. What I wanted to talk about briefly was some confusion between the October 21st article that was put out in the Danville San Ramon paper referring to ordinance 527. And there was, if I went back through all of the council meetings, discussions, meeting minutes, and the actual recording on that. And according to what I can find, is the ordinance was adopted on October 12th. And yet the article says that tonight this was going to be on the agenda item. And there was another patch article that said tonight adopting the ordinance was going to be on here. The reason I was bringing it up is I know there's 30 days once it's passed before it's adopted. And there's a lot of concern in the area about the tent and the mobility scooter that's been out there. And so it kind of goes hand in hand. And I was hoping to get some clarification from you on that, where we're at, when it was adopted, when it's effective.
Okay, well, we can't discuss an item that's on public comment, but I'm sure he'll get back to you on that.
Okay.
Yeah, through the mayor,
Go ahead.
without risk of a Brown Act violation, I can just clarify that we did adopt the ordinance at the last meeting and that the ordinance will take effect 30 days from that date. And I can't for the life of me remember what that date was, but
It was in the
October
12th, November.
November 12th. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, so it
December-
would be December.
September
Thank you.
12th or 10th, December 10th it would be.
Remember, that used to just drive me crazy when the chair would ask him to comment on something after public comment. Now I are one. Okay, next person, please.
That was the only speaker card for this item.
Okay, and is there any written?
I did not receive any written
Okay,
comment.
we'll close. Is there anybody else rushing to get up to speak? We'll close public comment. Next item, please.
Item 5, consent calendar.
Okay, consent calendar items are considered routine in nature and acted upon by the city council with a single action. Members of the audience wishing to provide public input may request by email to the city clerk or under public comment. Well, is there anybody wishing to pull an item? Any cards to pull it?
No.
None? Okay. What's the pleasure of the council? Or they just wait for me to get on it? Okay, it looks like it's unanimous.
Blue button.
And before the vote, can I please go ahead and read to,
Yes.
so a statement about the consent calendar items at 5.3 and 5.4 in accordance with Government Code Section 54953C3. At the November 12th, 2024 regular city council meeting, the city council met in closed session to perform the annual evaluation of the city manager. As a result, the city manager's contract amendment is before the council tonight under item 5.3. The city manager's rate of pay will not change based on this amendment, although the city manager will gain the ability to cash out up to 80 hours of accrued vacation leave each year, and any portion of which may be applied to deferred compensation. In addition, the amendment provides that no member or members of the city council will give the city manager direction or order or request in violation of the ICMA Code of Ethics. At the October 22nd, November 12th, 2024 regular city council meeting, the city council met in closed session to perform the annual evaluation of the city attorney. As a result, the city attorney's amended and restated contract is before the council under item 5.4. The new contract provides for a salary increase of 9% and will also allow the city attorney to cash up to 80 hours of accrued vacation leave each year, any portion of which may be applied to deferred compensation. In addition, the contract provides that if the city council acts in a manner such that the California Rules of Professional Conduct of a Lawyer requires employees to withdraw from representing the city of San Ramon, then that mandatory withdrawal will be treated as a termination without cause for the purpose of this contract.
Okay, looks like 5. I was reading it as city council, like, no, it's city attorney. Okay, mayor and city. Let's go to item 6. Item 6, please.
Item 6, special presentations, we have none. Item 7, deferred consent items, we also have none. Item 8, unfinished business, there is none this evening. And item 9, new business. 9.1, San Ramon Chamber of Commerce Annual Report, presentation by Heidi Keniston Lee, President and CEO.
Just can't stay away.
It's true. Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be here to tell you all the great things that have been happening with the San Ramon Chamber of Commerce. I don't know that the chamber has ever presented to City Council an annual report, have they? I've not heard, I've been asking. So I really appreciate the time to share with you what we're doing. I wanted to start by introducing just a couple people in the audience. Our Ambassador Chair, Peter Niles with Executive Innovation. If you just want to raise your hand or stand up. And then we have our chair-elect, Terry, the infamous Terry Caney, who is with Terry Caney Communications and also sits on our Parks and Community Services Commission. Over here, Terry. And then we do have folks that are always here who are ex officio members of our board. Of course, Chief Carlson from the PD. And of course, we have Scott Cole from the city who represents you on the chamber. So once again, thank you for having me. I do have several slides. I'm usually at risk of not having enough to talk about, but I made an exception for tonight. Okay, so see if I can operate this. There's hope. Okay. So we're going to talk about San Ramon Chamber 101, basics of what we're about. Why do businesses and nonprofits join the chamber? What are some of our really valued partnerships? What are some of our premier events? What has been some of our effective advocacy efforts? Our ability to connect with community and how we're going to connect moving forward. All right. Just so you know, I'll point out pictures along the journey. This is one of our business expos. These are some of our chamber ambassadors and a brand new member. Okay, so as you may know, we celebrate a birthday together. We were founded in 1983. We are not a 501c3, rather we are a 501c6, which is a California nonprofit mutual benefit corporation. So we're essentially a business membership organization. We have approximately 250 members. They comprise for-profit businesses, nonprofit members, and we do have courtesy members. The chamber this year voted to give courtesy memberships to critical community stakeholders, PD, the city of San Ramon, the school district, and why am I going to blank on this last one? I'll remember and I'll tell you. Okay. What's that?
Fire district?
Fire district, thank you, for the love of Pete. Okay, don't tell Paige, I forgot. Okay, and then in terms of our leadership, we have a full and very robust and strong board of directors, 20 directors, including the 4 ex officio members. We have approximately 13 ambassadors who promote the chamber, promote membership, make members and prospective members feel welcome. There are many functions that they fulfill. We get our funding primarily from membership fees, from event fees, and from sponsorships. Some of our affiliations, California Chamber of Commerce, Western Association of Chamber Executives, the Tri-Valley Chamber of Commerce Alliance, and the Contra Costa Chambers of Commerce. The presidents will often meet to benchmark and so forth. I wanted to point out this one picture. On top, so Peter's here. This is when a couple of our ambassadors were going around the community to the retail centers and talking about the chamber. That's a gal over at Ace Hardware, and they were giving her one of our Shop San Ramon stickers, which she proceeded to put in the window to promote, retail in San Ramon, and that's some of our board members below. Okay, so why do people spend the money and join the chamber? That's the million-dollar question. You know, certainly at the very basic level, they want to network, they want to grow their business, they want to be successful. There's a certain credibility that comes with joining the chamber in the sense that everything being equal, you're going to pick the business that invests in community, right? Plenty of business, civic, social, and educational events, business advocacy. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Business education. We connect people with thought leaders. We connect them with decision makers. That's really important to business. Community building and investment. They provide each other with member-to-member discounts, which is great. There's a certain amount of customer loyalty that comes with chamber membership. And this is a big one that we've started to focus on this year more heavily. Opportunities to support economic vitality and workforce development. Really crucial. So that's a good package of value proposition. Some of our partnerships. So truly, and it's not just because I'm in front of you guys, one of our most valuable partnerships this year has been with the city of San Ramon. I meet twice a month with Scott. I tell him what's going on with the chamber. He tells me what's going on with the city as it pertains to the business community. It has been a beautiful exchange of communication and support. You obviously have seen me at all the city council meetings. And I am Heidi Q. Public at budget workshops and things of that nature. So it's really important that we keep our hand on the pulse of what's going on with the city, particularly as it pertains to the business community and the nonprofit community. We were really excited to celebrate the joint 40th anniversary. That was a lot of fun, working with Kathy's team. We love it when our mayors come and talk to us about the state of the city. And we've enjoyed Dave doing it. We look forward to Mark doing it again. And then, of course, every 5 years, we have the opportunity to host the Tri-Valley Mayor's Summit, which we did a year ago. Last year, it was Danville, and next year, I believe it's Pleasanton. Ribbon cuttings, I will say this another time, so bear with me, but I have been heartened by your support of business. It's a no-cost way to send a message that San Ramon values business by going to ribbon cuttings. It's just a no-brainer. And the business owners are so genuinely touched when you go and say, hey, you're important. We want you to be successful. You're important to our economy. You're important to our community. So thank you for that, because your team has really stepped up in that regard. You each have a directory in front of you. One of our best collaborations has been to work on articles that highlight San Ramon. It could be we highlight the parks. The directory that's coming out in 2025, we talk about aging in San Ramon. We talk about getting around in San Ramon. We've talked about how San Ramon is a business-friendly community. So the directory is a great vehicle for promoting members, but also promoting San Ramon. We have provided some really great information through our Fourth Friday roundtables. We really appreciate that Scott and the city council members provide updates to our attendees on what's going on with the city. So that's been great. And then you'll see on the right-hand side, the chamber, I don't know if you know it's there. We have a Chamber of Commerce directional sign on Bollinger Canyon that Mr. Cole and Public Works helped us get. And you know, I'm not sure that there are 5 million people looking to find where San Ramon Chamber of Commerce office is. However, it's symbolic of the value that we place on business and we place on partnership. That's what's important about that. So our major sponsors, we call them connection catalysts. Chevron, of course, Amos Productions, Stanford Medicine Tri-Valley, Stanford Healthcare Tri-Valley, and our newest connection catalyst, Discover San Ramon. And we're going to talk more about that partnership. Okay, appreciate the animation of the graphics. Okay, so Discover San Ramon, you know, we were here advocating for continuation of Discover San Ramon as our tourism district. We're looking forward to some co-branding opportunities with them. We are really excited about leveraging resources to promote San Ramon as a place to, you know, stay at a hotel, bring your business, work, do some staycations, you know, do some tourism. And I have to give a little shout out to Bishop Ranch and to Roundhouse. They have been a consistent event sponsor, promoting obviously business, but also supporting the chamber. They have really stepped up with regard to making their world-class facilities available to the chamber. We had our Career Connect Talent Expo over in the atrium in the Roundhouse, and then we recently had the candidate forum there. Oh, I can look at it right in front of me. Nice. Okay, so we have done some new events this year. Events are awesome for allowing people to network, disseminating information, building community. So we have our Third Thursday Mixers, great networking opportunity, the brand new workforce development effort, Career Connect Talent Expo, which was great. Our Fourth Friday Roundtables where we talk about important issues of the day. And then, of course, we rebranded the awards dinner to the WOW Awards, which is coming up next week. I hear there might be a couple of you at the dais who might be recognized. So that's fun. We talked about state of the city, state of the county. A big function of a chamber of commerce is giving people access to their leaders and giving those leaders an opportunity to update the business community and the community at large on what's going on in our community. Not only the great things that we're doing, but what are some of the challenges that we encounter. So that's really great. So you can see some of the fun pictures. I love the one, I love the look on Marisol's face at the Escapology ribbon cutting. I mean, she was into it. She was excited. So, and you see there, just there, we've got 4 of you right there supporting business. So that's fantastic. You see Candace Anderson on the bottom. We've got some Workforce Development and Economic Development Alliance people there, the WOW Award, some of our ambassadors. And that lower left-hand corner picture is the atrium over at Roundhouse, where we had the Career Connect Talent Expo. Advocacy. So that handsome devil there is the gentleman who gave the last State of the City address. I love that picture of Mayor Hudson. That's a good picture. I sent it to Barbara Hudson immediately when we got that. Okay, so one of the big things that we do that particularly pertains to you as a city council, we give business a voice. We're here at city council meetings. This year alone, we weighed in on business license fees. We were very pleased to see that you broke that down into sizable chunks. We obviously advocated for Discover San Ramon's district renewal. We did also, after much deliberation and thoughtfulness and mindfulness, we endorsed Measures N and Measure Q, which was a big deal for a Chamber of Commerce to do. We have a public policy committee that discusses these ideas or these endorsements. We also host the Fourth Friday Roundtables. And this year we created a brand new workforce development committee. So the idea of that committee is to look at how can we support at all levels, whether it's, the folks that wash the dishes or serve the meals up to executives. How do we support a strong, healthy source of employees in our community? We've talked about the events, and then I'm proud to say that we have city representation, the chamber does, on 2 important committees. The Transportation Advisory Committee, our rep is Wade Luckhart of Fast Sign San Ramon. And then we have TJ Carter from Stanford Healthcare Tri-Valley, both members, of course, on the new, fairly new, Climate Action Plan Citizen Task Force. They report to us what's going on. They give us perspective on how those subject matters and what's going on might impact business and the community. So thank you for valuing business enough and valuing the chamber membership to make sure that we have a voice in that way. Oh, you know what I wanted to point out to you guys? The little green box. One of our Fourth Friday Roundtables, we featured Trash Free San Ramon. We wanted businesses to know that this was an initiative. And that's Dave talking at one of the Tri-Valley Mayor Summits. Okay, we're getting there. A lot of effort in the community. We're mixing it up a little bit. We had the first ever Chamber of Commerce Volunteer Fair where we showcased our nonprofit members to our businesses and just tried to make those volunteer opportunities more accessible to them. You can see Anita Miller, our board member from Chevron, at the light parade. We really enjoyed participating in that. Our color, of course, our logo color is teal. We were very pleased to get that teal Chevy back there. That was our car. But that was a fun collaboration with the city and the community. Accomplishments. So here you see one of our board members, Ade Henderson from Robert Half. He was really instrumental in helping us launch our Career Connect Talent Expo over at the Roundhouse. And then these are some of our major accomplishments. You may or may not know that we have a new tagline since I've joined, Connecting for Success. really important and works on so many different levels. We have a brand new website. If you have not visited it, please take a look. We've had a lot of compliments on it. We definitely have a tremendously increased social media presence. We know that's how you connect with people these days. We talked about the Talent Expo in the Roundtable series. One thing that I'm really excited about, you'll see in that lower right-hand corner, the Savor San Ramon logo. We launched a social media campaign called the S Series. Shop San Ramon, savor San Ramon, staycation in San Ramon, get your services in San Ramon. We really, as do you, as does Discover San Ramon, as does Sunset Development City Center, we want to bring home the point of keeping revenue here in the city and making sure that to the extent possible, let's keep our dollars here. Let's frequent our businesses. Let's build relationship with our local vendors. Really important. As I said, we mixed up a few of our mixers to have different features. We had a business bingo, which was fantastic. Again, we're really proud of the strengthened partnership with the city. We also walked the walk. We had a chamber intern we brought on who helped us with social media, and we mentored him, we trained him. He was then hired by Decode Technologies. So it was a good modeling of how you develop workforce through the internship mode. We certainly have stepped up our advocacy game. We are more present, we are stronger, more effective in our advocacy efforts. Really excited to have a successful candidate forum recently. And then we're going to have another successful membership directory come in with, and I do want to thank staff because they were very helpful with getting some content for featuring some great things the city is doing. Okay, connecting forward. Goals and objectives. Proceed. There we go. Oh yeah, I got a little fancy here with the one at a time. We definitely need to increase chamber membership. No question. We do have attrition. Sometimes businesses leave your community. Sometimes their budgets change, but it does no good to keep bringing on all these new members if we lose members. So we are working on retention and acquiring new members. Oops. Okay, we want to help our businesses grow and thrive. Obviously, that's a big reason why they join. We want to work with all the stakeholders to make sure that we make it attractive for businesses to come to San Ramon. Really critical, and we have a great story to tell here, and we're happy to be part of that storytelling. Increase shopping and revenue in San Ramon, we talked about that. Be a hub for business information and resources. You may not know, but Scott worked with Simone in communications to update your economic development page. It's still a work in progress, but we've been collaborating on that because we want to be able to provide information. And we have a section on our website that connects to your website and connects to the Small Business Administration, for example. We want to make sure that we're getting information to our businesses that will help them succeed. Okay. We want to continue to advocate for business interests. Really important. They're the backbone of our economy. Connecting commerce with community. You guys know that community is really important to me, and giving businesses an opportunity to connect with community service opportunities. That kind of thing is really critical. And, you know, they're an important part of our community and need to be part of that dialogue. Supporting workforce development. Our Workforce Development Committee actually has met with the East Bay Economic Development Alliance, the Workforce Development Board, DVC, the school district to find out what programs are already out there that the chamber could possibly support in terms of workforce development. Create community, that goes without saying, foster economic vitality, and encourage more economic development, support and effort by the city and in the city. So here's what I'm going to tell you. Okay, part of my final thoughts. Are you ready? Okay, I wrote them down. Okay, hang on. Okay, so we've done a lot of great work this year. We've had some revenue as a city. We've had some challenges fiscally that we've overcome through a revenue measure and through some real tightening up of our belts. And I know that I've been to budget workshops and planning workshops with this team, with you as a team, and seeing that economic development is high on your priority list, okay? And I think it's tough when you have limited resources to figure out how to do that. As a chamber representative, I would say, keep that forefront in your mind. You know, make sure that we've got staff support forwarding the idea of economic vitality. You know, collaborate with us. Let's not let that go by the wayside, right? Because we do need to allocate some resources from the city to support economic development, to attract businesses, because you just can't say it's important to us. There need to be some actual tangible things that we do to make that happen. And we're here poised to work with you and have developed this great relationship with you. I think we're going to have to get creative because certainly our organization, and I know this city, is a fiscally responsible one. So we got to get creative on how we do that. So I guess the last few things I would say is just how genuinely proud we are of the connections that we fostered with and among key businesses and community stakeholders. I would like to emphasize this both locally and regionally as we work to support our business community and the community at large. We're really grateful for the strengthened partnership. You guys have demonstrated your support of businesses. Very appreciative of that through events and so forth. I do want to thank you as city council. I want to thank our city manager because I know this is something he's supportive of. City staff, having been on the Parks Commission, we know how hard the staff works in this community. And I'll call out Scott Cole because he's been so helpful and just embarrass him. But meeting with him regularly is great, but we need to keep that torch of economic vitality burning. And I have to tell you, and I'm just about done here, but not all cities have a good relationship with their chamber. I don't know if you guys know this. Even in the Tri-Valley, you'll see examples of chambers not really having this collaborative relationship. We are very lucky to have that. We need to continue that momentum because that's how we'll move forward with our city. As we move forward, we trust that the city will keep businesses and nonprofit organizations in mind with regard to policies, true fiscal responsibility and economy, and community building programs. And just let you know, even though I won't be here, the chamber will remain vigilant in its civic engagement as it pertains to impact on businesses, nonprofits, and the community at large. So that's really critical. And then finally, I get to introduce you to our brand new president and CEO, Danielle Cook, who, Danielle, you want to come up and say a few words? Come on up. Who I know will do a great job and enjoy your support as much as I have. You're welcome.
I know I have really big shoes to fill, but I am really excited to accept the challenge and work with all of you in the future.
Okay.
So I'll be starting transition on the 2nd.
December 2nd, yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Do you guys have any questions for us?
How big are those shoes? No.
No.
That's it for the chamber.
Only a
Come on, at least Scott to have a question.
Oh, he will.
No, I just want to thank you for the very visible revitalization of the chamber. There were a number of years where it kind of faded into the background a little bit, and I was kind of concerned that it wasn't viable anymore. But you clearly put a lot of energy and effort into revitalizing it, and I'm sure that it will continue in that vein.
For
We
sure.
really
Thank
appreciate
you.
your efforts.
Thank you. We have a great story to tell. We are strong. We are a powerhouse, and we need to celebrate that and promote that. Yeah. Any questions? Anything else?
I just want to make a comment.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, stay-
Okay.
stay
Thank you, Heidi, for a great presentation. Thanks for stepping up when Chamber of Commerce needed most, especially as a president. The leadership that you showed, the commitment that you showed as part of the Chamber of Commerce and rejuvenating the whole organization so that we could able to see the real Chamber of Commerce, what you can do as part of community. And it was always a pleasure joining you in these events. And I always see your energy and your commitment in these events, every event. You never hesitated to reach out to any of us and bringing us to connect to these organizations, the businesses that are coming. And you got a point, the perfect point that as a city council, one of our top priority is to build a strong financial base, and that we can start only with strong business in our city.
Mhm.
And being you as a president, I could see that we definitely were in the path of achieving that. And I know Danielle is she got a big shoes to fill in, but looking forward to work with you, Danielle, on that. And wish you all the best with your whatever your next endeavor. And definitely we'll see you around in the city.
For sure, yeah.
Thank you.
Definitely.
I also wanted to mention, thank you for moving the banquet away from the first Thursday in December, because that for many years was the conflict with the mayor's conference.
Yeah,
And that
my
was always
pleasure.
a challenge to,
Yeah.
who was going to go to which. And
Yeah.
thank you for moving it, so we don't have to choose.
So I'll also say thank you, Heidi, for kind of reinvigorating the chamber. Done a great job, and I think I think your efforts have made the chamber a great enabler for economic vitality in the city. I've attended a lot of the events that you were talking about, the mixers or the roundtables and state of the city and different events, the expos. You got a great board. You got great ambassadors, a super team. And I want to wish you the best as you kind of move back into your own personal business. And Danielle, welcome as the new chamber president. I know you can do a great job. We look for continued success and maybe kind of keep pushing that Shop San Ramon program and the S's program that you were talking about. I think that's great. It's just great to do whatever we can do to attract and keep businesses in San Ramon and make them successful.
For sure.
So
Yeah.
thank you.
And fortunately, Danielle has a very strong marketing background. So number one, I felt very proud that she liked the S campaign. And then I think you can see
That's
more
what she
stuff like
told
that
you.
from her. So what's that?
That's what she told you.
He's saying she meant.
She's got something better in mind.
That Heidi has implemented this last year are incredibly powerful, and I think that they're going to be wonderful to carry on and just continue building.
Yeah. And then Danielle, you didn't really tell them about yourself, but she has a strong community background too, having worked with the Ed Fund and so forth. So I love that. Because I think when people feel invested in their community, they just go whole hog on that job, right? It's just, it's more than about a job. It's about investing in your community.
Absolutely. I've been a resident of San Ramon for 26 years. I've volunteered throughout my kids' education, and I currently am a volunteer with the San Ramon Education Foundation. I'm looking forward to just getting involved even more in our community and connecting as many people as we can.
Great.
You don't jump.
I actually do have questions. So,
I'm ready. Wait. let me
so
get my
it was so
clicker.
interesting. I was like, no, I have a question. Hold on a second. So I was just curious, like when you talk about workforce development, that is something really, really important, and I was just kind of curious if you could give me a little bit more of an inkling, like,
Examples.
yeah, just like
Yeah,
some of the things
yeah.
like, because you talked about, workforce development from across the spectrum in terms
Yeah.
of types of jobs
Yeah,
at different
yeah,
skill levels,
yeah.
what have you, and variety.
Yeah.
What kind of things were you targeting?
Yeah. So this year, the Workforce Development Committee's really their task has been to find out what the opportunities are out there. Because if we don't have to reinvent the wheel, but we can support what's going on, that could be one thing. It could be anything from connecting our business members with mentorships and internships, right? And that's not a costly thing. It's just the communication of saying, here's an opportunity. It could be supporting scholarships, right? It could be connecting employers that are businesses of ours or even the general business community with training programs,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
So there's a whole spectrum of opportunity out there.
Mhm,
And there are a lot of great career education programs going on at the school district and going on at DVC. Fortunately, we have somebody from the school district and from DVC on our board. So right now we're doing the benchmarking. We're figuring out what is out there. And really, frankly, as you know, the chamber is a very lean organization. So as does the city, we need to look at cost-effective ways to have the greatest impact. But those are some examples.
Yeah, very good. And and especially when you mentioned DVC, I was just kind of thinking like those are apprenticeship programs they can definitely
Right.
support.
Yeah.
And it's right here in our
And it's
backyard.
right here, yeah.
So,
Well, and I will tell you, for
yeah.
the WOW Awards that I think everybody's going to, nearly everybody, a video that videos we showed last year and a video that we're showing this year is being produced by the video production interns. So that's another example of, giving work experience, developing workforce,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, wonderful. And the second question I have, and the last one, is just what types of businesses, have you noticed are kind of, or are you aiming to increase their presence here in San Ramon?
I mean, we've started having dialogue with Innovation Tri-Valley, to kind of get San Ramon on the map more with them. They obviously deal with companies that are heavily into innovation. I'm sure that the Marins over at Bishop Ranch would love to see that kind of infusion of brain power and innovation into our community. But we have a lot of small businesses in the chamber as well. So the task of a chamber in a community like this is to provide support and attract all kinds of businesses. Restaurants, little restaurants, which we've done a good job of this year, getting some good restaurants here, which we need more of. But we want to get the Fortune 500 companies involved, right? And everything in between. But, biomedical healthcare is big now. Stanford Healthcare Tri-Valley, I think they're looking to have a greater presence. It's like there's so many industries that we need to infuse into San Ramon. We have a great infrastructure. We have a great community that should appeal to folks, employees and businesses that want to be here. So, but I think getting, tech and biotech innovation in here would be great.
Yeah. And
But
especially,
also retail, brick and mortar,
yeah.
and also we know from city work that experiential retail is big, right? It's like the escape rooms, and like going out for an evening because people are cooped up in their houses. They're working from home. So we want to embrace those kinds of retail experiences as well.
Yeah. And we've heard a lot of the young people come here, right? The 20-year-olds, they're like, what do we get to do? So thank you for thinking about them and how you can include them. So thank you. I mean, I just love watching your presentation because I can feel and hear your passion for what you're doing. And and obviously when you have that passion, we have good outcomes like this. So I appreciate, just your time and dedication and to do this because, I mean, it takes a lot of heart. And so we appreciate that.
Well, I will tell you that when I ran a draft by my board of directors, they said, okay, Heidi, how much time do you have with these folks? I'm like, I'm taking it. So thank you for your patience and allowing me to give you a thorough picture of what we've done this year. I appreciate your support.
Who would have
That's
known how
wonderful.
shy you are?
I am so shy. I know.
And I look forward, Danielle, to, just the vision too that you have in your own right. And I'm sure you have one and what you're going to bring as well, and just build upon what's already been built and continue to really just kind of, I think I'm very optimistic about San Ramon and what the next few years will bring. And with both of your leadership, I think we'll be on the right path. So thank you for everything.
Guys.
And keep your hands on that turquoise car because I'll be back here for public comment from the light.
Oh.
parade.
I know. We were just talking about, we haven't seen the last of you, that's for sure. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item, please.
Item 9.2, resolution number 2024-109, authorizing execution of amendment number 2 to the unrepresented miscellaneous employees salary and benefits resolution and corresponding update to the fiscal year 2024-25 salary schedule. Staff report by Megan O'Donoghue, Human Resources Manager.
Good evening. If I can get this out. There. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and council members. Let me get this presentation pulled up for you. Okay. So I'll be presenting to you on the proposed amendment number 2 to the unrepresented miscellaneous employees salary and benefits resolution. So as some background, as you may recall earlier this year, the new memorandum of understanding with the San Ramon Police Officers Association was approved effective July 15th, 2024. That new MOU, of course, included changes to various salary provisions for represented members, including police sergeants. One of the changes in pay resulted in fully loaded sergeants at the top step of their salary range. So those are sergeants, and we're looking at the combination of their base pay and any specialty pays available to them. That total amount created compaction with the pay for the police lieutenants. So amendment number 1 to the unrepresented miscellaneous employee salary and benefits resolution resolved that compaction by moving forward, permanently setting the top step for police lieutenant at 5% above a fully loaded top step sergeant. And all lieutenants were moved to that top step effective July 15th, 2024. Now, with that change, the new top step for police lieutenant moved above the top of the salary range for both police captain and police chief. So the proposed amendment number 2 would establish the top of the salary range for captain at 7.5% above the top step for lieutenant, and then the top of the salary range for police chief at 10% above the top of the salary range for captain. And I do want to point out in the council packet, the resolution had a typo that incorrectly showed that numerical value for the difference between police chief and police captain at 105%. That has been corrected to reflect the true 10%. So much like the city did for lieutenant, staff would recommend that current captains and our current police chief be moved to the tops of those salary ranges effective July 15th, 2024. And that salary range would represent an increase of approximately 8.7% for the police chief. Like captain and chief, the new range for police lieutenant was also above that of department director. So amendment number 2 would apply an increase of 10% to the salary range for department director to resolve that compaction. I will note that in that case, the range is moving, but there would be no immediate impact to any actual salaries for department directors. And finally, the current contract with the city manager calls for a 5.5% salary differential between the city manager and the highest paid department director. So with the change in salary for police chief, the salary for the city manager would also need to be updated. And that update would result in an increase of approximately 11% in actual salary for the city manager. Finally, the unrepresented miscellaneous employee salary and benefits resolution called for updates to salary ranges for most of our unrepresented job classifications based on a total compensation salary survey. Most of those were implemented, except for a few exceptions which were deferred. And so we would be proposing that we would implement those changes for city/district engineer, assistant city attorney, and deputy city manager. And again, those are just impacts to the ranges, not actual salaries. And the total fiscal impact for this amendment is $114,716.
That's for the fiscal year.
Correct. Any questions for me on that?
Any questions down here? Scott got it out first.
No,
Okay.
not a question, but you know, that
Comment?
the 114,716 of all those cascading effects, you know, when we did the representative POA contract and all those other positions were affected by that because of compaction and one thing or another. That's not as much as I thought it would be in total, quite frankly.
That's good. It's when it's the other way that's bad.
Yes.
Sridhar, Scott, any comments?
No, that's good. Good, we went through all this.
So you're asking us to approve or reject resolution 2024-109 as amended.
That's correct. Yes, please.
We'll need a public comment.
Yeah, we'll do that first. We got all the comments, questions out. Okay, we'll open up public comment. Thanks, Megan. Any cards?
I have no cards on this item.
And any written?
No.
Then we'll close the public. Okay, the matters before the council.
You get to vote.
Is it open or do I have to wait for it?
Did you vote?
Yeah,
Okay. You're away. Your vote didn't.
well, put me down as a yes.
Thank you.
Looks like it's unanimously approved. Next item, please.
Item 9.3, resolution number 2024-110, authorizing an update to the city's personnel rules and regulations and fiscal year 2024-25 salary schedule, execution of the unrepresented executive employees salary and benefits agreement, and additional personnel in the city manager's office. Staff report by Megan O'Donoghue.
Good, you didn't have far to go.
Yeah, this was an easy commute. So I'll be presenting on the proposed update to section 105 of the city's rules and regs. The execution of an unrepresented executive's employee salary and benefits agreement, and a request for the addition of 1 FTE in the city manager's office. So currently, section 105 of the city's personnel rules and regulations speaks to the city's competitive service and outlines which job classifications are included in the competitive service and therefore considered for-cause employees, and which job classifications are excluded and considered at will. Currently, the job classifications of department director, police chief, and assistant city manager are included in the competitive service, therefore making them for-cause. But current best practice for public sector agencies is to have senior management classifications serve at the will of the appointing authority and be at will. So we're recommending updating section 105 to prospectively exclude the job classifications of department director, police chief, and assistant city manager from the competitive service, which would make them at will. And I want to just call out that that prospective exclusion means that this would only apply to any new employees hired into those job classifications after today's date, if approved. Consequently, with that change, we would need to have separate employment provisions for those employees, which is why we have drafted the unrepresented executive employees salary and benefits agreement, which would include a provision for up to 6 months of severance benefits for employees that fall into that agreement. Connected to this same item, there was recently an organizational assessment conducted by our consultant, Municipal Resource Group, or MRG, and that included the General Government Department and City Manager's Office. And through that assessment, they identified an immediate need for an assistant city manager to provide increased oversight to the city's finances and some other key operational areas, and also alleviate the city manager's extensive span of control. So staff is requesting the addition of 1 FTE for an assistant city manager, which would be filled as soon as possible. We would also recommend setting the salary range for assistant city manager at 10% above the top of the salary range for department director. So this action would result in a potential fiscal impact of approximately $303,677, which would be essentially the salary for that position at the top of the range.
That would be the full year cost or the remainder of the year cost?
That's a great question. I suppose that would be an annual salary, so it would be likely less than that.
Okay, so if you were
For
to
the
hire
fiscal year.
somebody January 1, it would effectively be half of that in the current fiscal year with the full amount in the following year.
Yeah, that's correct.
Got it.
Other questions of Megan before we go open?
Maybe, I've been around federal civilian service in the past, so I get what some of these terms are in terms of at will and things like that. But just for the benefit of everybody, can you explain
Sure.
at will and what the real implications are when we say that of what an employee's status when they're at will and what it could mean for them?
Yes, absolutely. So if an employee is included in the competitive service and considered for cause, another way that it's commonly kind of discussed is that they have property rights to their position. So essentially, it creates a higher bar for if the city would choose to separate with that employee. Versus, I think when you talk about exclusion from the competitive service or at-will employment, I think that's what most of us are commonly affiliate with kind of private sector employment, which is that truly you're serving at the will of the appointing authority. And so there's, you don't have property rights to your position. So that's how I would explain it.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Any other questions, Sridhar or Megan?
No questions. Thanks.
Okay, we'll open the public comment then. Any cards?
I do not have any
Quick,
cards.
close the public comment. That was good. And I'll ask
Gotta
you.
be quick, gotta be quick.
Uh, we have a motion and a second. Who is the second? Sridhar?
Sridhar.
Well, you do have to be quick. Okay, I'll end the vote.
There you go.
Looks unanimous again.
Thank you.
She won't be going
Anyone
far once
else?
to do it.
Anyone else?
Okay, next item, please.
Item 10, city manager and city council members' comments and matters initiated. And 10.1, discussion of cancellation of the December 24th, 2024 city council meeting.
I'll go first. No.
No,
I want to
no.
come in the 24th.
Yeah.
Sure.
You guys can win.
All right.
You're not doing anything else that day, are you?
Thank you, Mayor and members of the council. I do have a couple items for an update this evening. First is our City of San Ramon has several Toys for Tots drop-off sites this year as part of the Toys for Tots Holiday Toy Drive. Residents can donate new unwrapped toys for ages 0 to 12 at the following locations: out here at City Hall in the Rotunda, San Ramon Community Center, Alcosta Senior Center and Community Center, Police Department as well. And the deadline for donations is Tuesday, December 12th. And I do have to note that every year when the Marines collect from our location, they do cite that they have to bring extra trucks and that we are one of the top Toys for Tots donation sites, at least in Contra Costa County, if not the East Bay. So please keep it up, and I look forward to participating that this year. We also have our Bah Humbug 5K walk and run and also a kids dash. This takes place Saturday, December 7th at the San Ramon Community Center. The kids dash starts at 8:15 a.m. The 5K starts at 8:30. Come in costume. Awards will be given for most Grinch-like, best holiday spirit, and best group theme. You can register at sanramon.ca.gov/fitness races. Also, the same day as the Bah Humbug event on Saturday, December 7th, Santa Claus is coming to town on a fire truck. Santa will be in town on a San Ramon Valley fire truck. The route begins at Athen Downs Park at 4:30 p.m. and ends at the city center at 6 p.m. Santa and the fire truck will be at the city center for photos until 8. And for more information, you can visit firedepartment.org/Santa. That is it for my event updates, and I do have that item 10.1 on the agenda, which is discussion of showing up on Christmas Eve, if the council so chooses to show up on Christmas Eve. But if not, I'm looking for at least 3 nodding heads that we can cancel the meeting on the 24th.
Haven't have the right 3, huh?
Yeah.
Are we on that yet? Okay,
All right. Thank you. So it looks like I received the,
let Scott go last, but I want to
Yeah.
point something out. That most of us went to the ribbon cutting, the grand open of the Sunrise Ridge Park. And I don't think we have time to do it this year, but next year we're gonna add an event to the Bah Humbug, and that is the Marisol Mile, where you gotta run up that hill. We'll see how it goes.
Mm.
But no, it's just another great park in San Ramon. And anybody else want to get me off the hook and take over for their remarks? Marisol?
Take over for the.
No.
Just what are you talking about? I mean,
Comments.
I mean,
Comments.
Today.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, sure, not a problem. I was like, wait, are we still talking about the race? So the November 15th, I attended with many of my fellow council members here, the Christie Yamaguchi Holiday Ice Rink opening ceremony. As always, that's a lot of fun. Let's see. And then on November 18th, I attended the Traffics meeting. Right after I had my physical therapy for my pinky, so I apologize. I caught the end of it. I have a broken finger, so I have to admit it's broken and trying to
getting
repair.
any strokes on time for your.
It's problematic. And then on November 20th, I attended the Arts Advisory meeting. Apparently, unfortunately, we did not quite have quorum, but we took the opportunity to talk about some of the art pieces that were submitted for consideration. that we're thinking for, even for the Art and Wind Festival and already. So we were looking at different pieces up for consideration. So at least when we do meet again, we can save a little bit of time because some of us have already put in, submitted our opinions about it. And so that is about it. Thank you.
Mark and Sridhar.
Sure. A couple of the meetings I attended, one was the Senior Foundation meeting on the 18th. Again, the focus was mostly on the budget for the foundation. Of course, all the funds that come in to through the foundation go to support activities over at the Senior Center. They did pretty well in the Holiday Boutique this year. Got about a little over $6,900 of revenue there. And then they had their hot potato bingo, which was a new event. They got about $2,600 there. So they're in pretty good shape right now, funds wise. On the 18th, I attended the Open Space Advisory Committee meeting. They've kind of worked on the schedule for the winter and spring different events that they're going to host, the hikes and a non-hiking event. They also talked about the Trails and Open Space webpage and an app. And then they did a review of the Open Space Advisory Committee annual report, the 2024 goals and what they accomplished in 2024 and what they plan to do for 2025. On the 19th, I attended the Teen Council meeting, and they identified the Outstanding Teen Citizenship Award. Currently, the nomination is for Kenneth Sarip from Doherty Valley High School. They also talked for quite some time about the Teen Wellness Survey. Some time ago, they did a Teen Wellness Survey, got the results back from that. And then that started a lively discussion that went probably for 45 minutes or more on different activities that teens might be interested in doing. It was sort of almost like a brainstorming session. One of the big things in the survey was that the teens felt, that they just wanted to have a place to go hang out with friends and not a structured event, not a big formal activity or something like that, where they got to think about things and all that. Just a place to go where they can go with friends, go hang out, have a food truck outside, get some food and socialize with their friends. But there's something going on, and there was a lot of good ideas that came out of that brainstorming session, as I call it. See, you mentioned the Sunrise Ridge Park opening on the 13th. I also, on the 13th, attended the Tri-Valley Nonprofit Alliance award ceremony. They identified several of the key players in the Tri-Valley who are in the nonprofit community and identified the small and the large nonprofits for recognition, as well as kind of the unsung heroes, several different categories. And I was on the selection board for a lot of those nonprofits. But a very entertaining event. It wasn't just an award ceremony, but they had a good panel discussion and also some costumed entertainment. I'll just leave it at that. Think Dorothy and the Yellow Brick Road as a theme. On the 14th, we had some students from Iron Horse Middle School come over here to City Hall, and Chief Carlson and I entertained them. It was a leadership class from Iron Horse, and they came over and we talked to them about leadership in general, and that had quite a very engaging question and answer session. That was Lieutenant Mark Gunning, I think, had a daughter in that class, and then also Captain Cranford was here at that session as well. But that was a great thing. And then on the 17th, Sunday a week ago, we had the kind of opening of the Hope Garden. This is over at Memorial Park. This is an event that was, remember last council meeting, we had Jenna Fabrique come and talk to us about this event that was coming up. And this is in honor of her brother, Trevor Fabrique, who lost his life. And so it's our Public Works Department cleared out a space there in Memorial Park in the meadow where they cleared out a lot of brush and made a space for planting tulips. And so we planted probably close to 500 tulips maybe. They put in a beautiful yellow bench. This is all sponsored by the Yellow Tulip Project. And again, Public Works did a great job with that. Our Parks and Community Services staff were out there in full swing. It was, Becky Adams kind of had the lead on that, but we had other key staff members out there as well as some Parks and Community Services Commission members. And just really good opportunity to kind of shine a spotlight on mental illness and kind of overcoming the stigma to wellness, mental illness, and creating a place for hope and solace up there in the meadow. Let's see. On the 19th, I spoke at the Quarry Lane School. We have quite a number of San Ramon students at the Quarry Lane School, even though that's in Dublin. But I spoke to the 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade, all of them, all the high school students in a school assembly. I was invited as part of a military appreciation club sponsored event. They asked me to speak on my career in the military, and I did that. And again, great engaging questions from all the students there. And let's see, on the 21st over at the Marriott, the APAPA had a meet and greet for elected officials and newly elected officials, and introduced some of their board members, and just a good chance to kind of network there a little bit. Let's see, on the 22nd over at City Center was the tree lighting ceremony. Mayor Hudson was there, spoke, and another special visitor showed up. Santa came and helped flick the switch and light the big tree over there in Alexander Square at City Center. It was a fun event. It rained, and so it was a little bit wet, and they curtailed some of the activities, but it was a good event nonetheless. And then, if you can believe it, I attended the Nick Carter concert over at the San Ramon Valley Performing Arts Center. So yeah, I was there decked out in my 90s outfit and, cheering on for the Backstreet Boys. No, it was actually a really good concert. I believe I was probably the oldest person there.
Yeah.
But it was a good concert and a lot of fun. And it's wonderful that we can bring in, talent, and, past talent, current talent into the San Ramon community, and just another great community gathering event. So, and that's it.
Sridhar, then Scott.
Okay, Friday, November 15th, attended San Ramon Valley Unified School District Liaison Meeting. This year, SRV USD reduced their budget by $3.5 million, and also they are going to present their list of $24 million in reduction for the next year. So this is, hopefully this won't impact the quality of education that's within the school district. But then this is what's happening in their world. Also, we shared some information about our Measure N with them, and had conversation about their Measure Q. They're glad that Measure Q is passed. So that's, and then also they shared some concerns around reduction in student enrollments. So hopefully the new developments that may bring more young families with them, young kids, so that may help us with school enrollment challenges that we are facing right now. So that's on that one. The next one is on the community side. There is a San Ramon Cricket Association Youth Academy, along with the Dublin Cricket League and Cricket for Cubs. They are hosting National Thanksgiving Tournament. This tournament is going to be participated by 20 teams across the country. They are participating from across the country. There are 3 different age groups, under 11, under 13, and 14. And this is the first time that Danville is also participating as part of this tournament. And cricket, they sent an email about award ceremony that's going to happen on Saturday. There are 2 different groups that they are going to do. So that's coming up, and that's on the community side. And I missed all community events. But then, oh, thanks, Kathy, for working with the SRCA on getting their grounds help with that requirements. That's pretty much, and wish you all happy Thanksgiving.
Oh, I I attended the LAFCO meeting in Martinez. That's the Contra Costa Local Agency Formation Commission. And we approved an extension to the sphere of influence for the Contra Costa County Fire Protection District to include the Rodeo Hercules Fire Protection District. That small district has been underperforming for a number of years, largely because their budget is inadequate to provide full service. So this would allow for them to be absorbed into Contra Costa County. There were a couple other minor agenda items. The MCE meeting on the 21st, Marine Clean Energy. The big thing on the agenda there was a proposal to start a new program called Vehicle on Grid. So if you have an electric vehicle and you're nobody currently has vehicles and chargers that allow for this, that you can put the the vehicle in, plug it into your house, and then it goes into the grid, not just into your house. There are currently some vehicles that you can put into your household electrification, but it will soon be available to actually put it onto the grid. In this program, MCE would pay you 26 cents a kilowatt hour in the summer between 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. and 20 cents a kilowatt hour between 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. in the winter. They're going to start with a program of about 100 residences and 25 businesses, and they have a cap on how much you can actually earn. So if you have electric vehicles, you probably don't have the kind of charger and switch that allows for this today, but it's coming, and we wanted to be out in front of it. So that was the big thing on MCE. And as I mentioned earlier, MCE's power content label, which they publish every year, MCE's power is 99.9% fossil fuel free, which is unique. I believe it's probably unique in the United States. I know it's unique in California, but the fact is, if you're using MCE power, you're not contributing to greenhouse gases anywhere in the state. So to me, that's a big deal. I asked the staff, now where do we go from here? And that's going to be a challenge, but our rates are cheaper than PG&E, and we still can provide fossil fuel free power. The EBRICS, East Bay Regional Communication System Authority, Finance Committee met. We had a pretty big accounts receivable. Over $6 million was overdue to MCE when our new executive director took over. He is now, through the actions of the Finance Committee and the board and his recommendations, we now have a policy. Bills are sent out before the 1st of July. They're due and before the 1st of September. On the 1st of September, it's a 10% penalty. And on the 1st of January, it goes to collection agency. And the agencies that are delinquent will have to pay the collection fees plus the 10%. We've already reduced the outstanding, is now down to 1.7 million. So they are making some progress on that, but there's still a ways to go. The second one was a capital replacement program. We hired a company to go take an inventory of all of the capital equipment that belongs to the radio system for the 2 counties. And there's 119 agencies that use our radios. And it's $67 million of capital equipment that will need replacing over the next 15 years. And so they have, we recommended a program that would increase the per radio cost by $3 per radio per month per year for the next 5 years, going from $31 up to $46. And then when it gets to $46, it stays at $46 for the next 10 years. And that will allow for paying for the $67 million of replacement. These are the consoles, the antennas and generators and all kinds of other equipment that goes into making a radio system reliable. In most cases, in nearly every case, we have redundant systems. And we have actually 2 loops of radios connected through microwaves. And so a break in one spot does not cause the system to go down. But we have redundancy throughout. It's a very, very reliable system. And the last thing was Contra Costa County has negotiated with Motorola for a discount on new radios. So in Chief, when you go to buy new radios, they can give us a 38% discount on what's a radio that costs more than $1,000. So that's over $380 discount per radio. The contract is good for 5 years. And I just wanted to say, before I leave tonight, 21 years, and I know Dave has been here a few more years than that. But the thing that makes this job worthwhile in so many ways is the wonderful community we live in. Every now and then somebody says, well, I'm mad at something, I'm going to leave. And I want to say, well, where are you going to go that's better than this? Really, where are you going to go that's better than San Ramon? And it's a great place. It's a great place to live for a lot of reasons. But one of the biggest reasons is the quality of the staff we have. And I've been here for more than 20 years with Denton and Kathy and Brian and Debbie and Stephen. And I know I'm forgetting a few others, but and then there's the rest of the staff that have come on over the years. But you have established a culture in the staff that invites people of quality to come and stay and innovate and not be threatened by new ideas and things like that. We've always had a bias for saying, yes, let's look at it, let's give it a try. Maybe it will work, maybe it won't, but there are places that where the people's reaction or the staff's reaction is no, because it's easy to just stop something and just go on with your life. But if you say, yes, we'll look at it, that creates new work. But that's how we get new things. That's how we get the light parade, and that's how we get, other things like that. So I want to thank the staff for making this a great place to live and making a job of the city council a little bit easier. It's not always easy up here, but it is easier when you have a good staff to implement things. I also want to thank council members, and I go back to Carol Rowley, Abram Wilson, Jim Livingstone, Harry Sachs, Phil Alone, Bill Clarkson, of course, Dave Hudson, Sridhar, Marisol, and Mark. I'm sure I've forgotten somebody, but working with a council that, while we don't always agree on everything, and we don't have to, every one of us, I guarantee you, has had the city's interest in mind when we voted. It was never, what is this going to do for my political career? What is this going to do for me? It's, what is this going to do for the city and the citizens of San Ramon? And I can say without exception, that's what every one of us had in mind when we took on this job. And I'm sure that in the following months and years, that will continue to be the case for city council members. We've established a legacy, and you don't have to look very far in the newspaper to find city councils that have fights, that are at each other's throats, and they worry about what is their political future going to be and things like that. And gosh, we are so blessed. And I know I got to believe the staff, every election worries about, oh my God, what's this going to mean for my job? Well, fortunately for the last 20 years, it's meant you've had a council that thinks of you as well as the citizens. When I took over with working with Dave, we had just gone through a big turmoil and lost a lot of good council, good staff members that just didn't want to deal with what was then called the Gang of Three. But
Doors closed.
what's that?
Some doors started closing.
Yes, and so we kind of cleaned house there and made some adjustments, hired Herb Beniz back. I will admit to this day that was one of the best decisions I ever made, was to bring Herb back. The thing I didn't do was, and this showed up in the newspapers and all, we didn't do good salary surveys on what do you pay a good city manager? A good city manager, there's a salary range for that. And we paid Herb a very good salary and probably more than what was the going rate for good city managers. It wasn't that he didn't deserve what we paid him. It's just we overpaid for what good city managers in the region got. So, but all in all, I'm going to miss this. I'm going to miss the council meetings. It's the other 47 meetings a month that I don't think I'm going to miss. Thank you all for bearing with me.
Thanks, Scott. And I don't think I could add anything to what you just said, Scott, except let's cancel the 24th. I think our city manager
I
is
won't
looking
be
for
there.
head noddings. Is that the
Consensus? Yeah.
consensus?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I won't be there.
Okay, next item, please.
Item 11, adjournment.
Okay. We adjourn to the next regular scheduled meeting on December 10th.